everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? So welcome to our show tonight. Tonight I have my friend Toby Blackwell.
Hello.
And Candice Harper.
Hi, everybody.
They have joined me, and we already started eating. I'm just saying, not the stuff that we're going to have tonight, but we had a little cheese. I'm just going to put it out there. So usually my guests don't eat before, but we broke the rules tonight and had some cheese. All right, so Keith Torgan has joined us. Krista Piero has joined us. Suzanne Murray, we were talking about you, Sergeant Sue. Oh, my God, Sergeant Sue. Rachel Pierce has joined us. So if you want to share our show, please feel free to share it on your pages or tell everybody. Jeffrey Campbell has joined. Tracy McHugh. Hi, everyone. All right, good. So tell people to join and watch our show, What's the Story with Maria? And what the mission of my show is to, I have creative people in my life. I have wonderful friends, and I always like to show them off because I was telling these friends of mine that the hardest thing in this town is to promote yourself. Hi, Jason Peck. He's come on. Kyle de Blasio. It's hard to promote yourself. It's uncomfortable and it's weird, but we can promote each other, can't we? We can help each other out as friends. So that's what we do. Also, we are creative people. I live in New York City, and most of my friends work in the creative arts in one way or the other, or have worked, or are heading that way, or we would talk about that too, just being creative. When you're a creative person, it doesn't leave you. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're in motion all the time. Your creativity is always in motion. So that's what we want to talk about. And if you're listening to this show from anywhere in the world that our show goes to, armdigitalmedia.com, or you are watching and you're thinking about moving to New York, or thinking about if you should pursue a career in the arts, those are some of the things that we talk about and the reality of that. I want people to know the reality of what it's like to thrive, survive, live in this city and abroad as a creative person, what that really means, right? The day-to-day. So, okay, so I'm going to, Toby, you this is what I put you in. I put you because you are to me a comedian, number one. Not that one is more important than the other, but when I think of you, I always laugh because we've had some really fun times. Comedian, a singer, an actor, right? Yeah. And also a writer. Correct. Yeah. So you have done a couple of cabaret shows that you've written. Very funny. You happen to be an amazing singer. So you have this rich, beautiful sound that I love. Thank you. Yes, and you've also done some shows right around.
Yes, yes. I said that we had met. And you became my director of my shows, and the first done 6. I think you directed the first 4, including beginning my Bitter series. So I think you started with Bitter, right? I think
Bitter. Yes.
Yeah. So I had a show called Home was my first one. And One Moment Please that got me sort of noticed a little bit. And then I started Bitter, and then that was
Bitter.
I've written the Bitter. Yeah, so Bitter.
Bitter was that just hit. That's it.
Bitterer. Hobbit, Stevens, and Slaves. Right. I had Bitter and Be Gay, and then when I turned 40, I had Lordy, Lordy, Look Who's Bitter. 40 years.
Lordy, Lordy, Look Who's Bitter. Okay, yeah. I love it. And but you wrote those shows. Yeah. I mean, and I directed it, but you wrote them, and they were so funny. And you're also really good at parodies, right? Yeah. So song parodies are something I've done since, I think, high school probably, and through college, my senior group, I would do them. And so with these shows, I always did song parodies, and I remember the Diva section I always had. So at the end, it started with Whitney. Whitney, I know you were doing Whitney. Remember?
You still call me Whitney, I think.
I do still call you Whitney. That is kind of my pet name for you.
And I started with that. I started with a parody of How Will I Know called How Much Is Blow.
Yes, I remember that.
And then from there, Whitney appeared in everything, and then expanded to a whole Divas thing. So there were always 3 divas, and I was most proud at the end. By the time I did, I think it was Michelle Obama, Lady Gaga, and then Whitney singing "I Didn't Know My Low Range."
Wow.
She didn't have that.
Oh my God! Yeah. All right. So let's say hi. Kenny Holcomb has joined us. Hi, Kenny. Corrine Russ has joined us. Rory Taggart, he's in Canada now. Michael Sawyer, my friend. Sam Barnes, hi everybody. Shalita Davis, my friend Shalita, hi everybody. The whole gang. And there'll be more, you'll see. So yes, you know what? You did Whitney.
Yes.
So well. Oh my God. And rest in peace, Whitney. We love you. And then nobody was as great as Whitney. So we're no disrespect to Whitney. We love Whitney. but nobody could do impressions of Whitney.
Yeah.
Before it got really sad, you were doing great impressions of Whitney.
Yeah.
But then you also did a great tribute to her.
I did, yeah. When I was doing podcast myself like some years ago, and it was, I did a tribute to her, and I had the 2 outfits I'd worn, and I sort of retired them. But I'm thinking it's been some time. Other people have done little things. I think Whitney might be. I think Angel Whitney might be coming back.
Yeah, hey,
Whitney,
you know I like it.
Yeah, so
why not? We miss Whitney. Bring her back.
People do some comedy, including Whitney and there's another podcast, and they did something when Prince passed away, because they had people that do the voices of these famous people.
Yeah.
And they did one of Prince, and it was funny because like a month later, I was like, oh, Prince. Yeah. It was like I didn't think these people had died, Prince, Michael Jackson, and these people, because I'd seen them in this podcast, and in my mind I had placed it that they were the real people. So I was like, yeah, they're fine, because I see that because they would be speaking from heaven or whatever.
Right.
So,
hey, listen, maybe there's a podcast in heaven we don't know about. Who knows?
Yes.
So what is Rory saying? Michael Barberi has joined us. Hi, Michael Barberi. Rory says, I still think of the Pepsi challenge every time I buy peanut butter every damn time. The Pepsi challenge? You'll have to let us know what you mean by that, Rory. Are you hitting the sauce over there in Canada? What the hell are you doing?
Oh, yeah. He's
are you drinking
the
rolling
jokes, I think.
Oh, maybe. Oh, the Pepsi challenge?
Yes.
Oh, I think he's right. Yes. Hi, Kim Orlando has joined us as well. So I want to let everybody know what I'm doing.
Oh,
it's not that I have multiple personalities and I'm just talking to random people. We Facebook Live as well, as because the radio station doesn't know that. So we're Facebook Living as well, and a lot of our friends will pop up and say hello to us, and we want to make sure that we acknowledge them, and we thank people for coming back week after week, and we appreciate that. Rena Crugnali, my cousin Rena, has joined us. Hi, Rena, of Berge and Berge Associates there. Okay, so Candice, let's move. We're going to go back and forth. So Candice Harper has joined us, and she is, we were talking beforehand, and I said, Candice, this is how I see you. You are a costume designer, a set designer, art director. You knit, you're a great baker. So you are one of those people that really is talking about creativity and motion. Yeah. You also are a singer, and you've done cabaret shows. So you are one of those people that also, like Toby, that does a lot of different things. Yeah. And would you say that a creative? But then you were like, well, I haven't done that for a while. You said, talk about that a little bit.
Well, I always say that I'm multi-passionate, and I like to do everything. I like to have my hand in everything. I'm sort of like a Jill of all trades and maybe master of one or two.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't master any of it. I'm just all over the place. Right. Just ADD.
Right, truthfully. Yeah. But I would say that the reason that it's easy to do that, and people have said to me, like, how do you know how to do so many things? And I don't even mean that to sound like,
No, it's just that it's interesting when someone does a lot of different things.
Yeah, but I think that as human beings, we all have this like well of creativity. We just don't all know how to tap into it in certain ways. Right. And it's the same principles that you can apply to almost everything that you do when it comes to creativity. If you're just willing to express yourself and be open about it and be authentic about it, you can almost apply it to anything. That's and true. Then learn the skills.
That's true.
So I basically have spent most of my life applying it to different things, learning the skills, and then sometimes I get bored and sometimes
One of the things that I learned very late in life that I wish I had learned earlier about being creative was just kind of cast your net out there.
Yes.
Just don't be afraid to at least try it. Like we were even talking about this show, like I'd never done anything like this. I had done other things and directed shows, so I knew that things needed a beginning and an end and some stuff in the middle. But I think it's just important to trust your instincts. But I think we get better as we get older. So to just say, listen, I'm willing to put my best foot forward. I am willing to respect myself and others. And let's see what happens. Like just kind of throw it out there. You have to be willing to take risks, I think, creatively, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so now I want to go back to you, Toby. Now, we'll talk about both of you here because I told Jimmy, our producer, and Jimmy's our producer and engineer. He's so wonderful. Thank you, Jimmy Bell. We so appreciate you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
And I know that Armed Digital Radio really appreciates the military and respects the military, as do all of us. And these guys are both. Candice is from a military family, definitely. Right, Candice? So you're talking about your dad.
So my dad was in the Air Force. I mean, he retired when I was a lot younger, but he's a very serious veteran. He's very, just it's part of his heart.
Yeah.
Having been in the military and his country. And
you guys moved around a lot, right?
We moved around a lot. I actually was born in Aurora, Colorado, and then we moved to the Philippines. We lived in
Right.
the Philippines for a while. I grew up mostly near Pittsburgh, like in a little small town. It's called Monaca. Hey, everybody.
So
from
you're a
Monaca,
Steelers
South
fan,
Florida.
right?
I'm a big Steelers fan.
And
I'm
they
really
did-
upset about
No,
Jacksonville.
I know, but let me tell you something. They were unbelievable.
Yeah.
They usually are anyway, but this year
They
the
held it
Steelers
together.
were unbelievable.
Yeah.
So let's give it shout
Give it
out,
up for the Steelers.
big clap for the Steelers.
Black and gold.
Black and gold.
Yeah.
That's it. And your brother-in-law, you were telling me earlier, is
He's a 2-star general.
2-star general
knew?
in the Army.
In the Army.
Wow. Okay,
Yes.
so give it up.
Commander of Fort Polk in Louisiana.
Yes.
Give it up.
Should we give him a shout out?
General Gary Brito.
General Gary Brito.
Yes.
All right. So shout out, sir. We salute you.
Thank you for your
And
service.
Candice's dad,
Yes.
we salute
Hubert
you.
Harper, Master Sergeant.
I love it. Hubert Harper, Master Sergeant. That sounds like a movie.
Right?
TV show, yeah.
I like that.
Hubert Harper, Master Sergeant.
Oh my God. And Toby, okay, let me check in. Hold on a second. Scott Evan Davis.
Evan Davis.
I know, isn't he
Aw,
beautiful?
used to
He
be
was
my
on the
neighbor.
show. He was?
He was my neighbor at Lenox Terrace.
Oh my God. Dennis
Yeah.
Martinez has joined us, Georgia Osborne. Scott Evan Davis, I like your new haircut, by the way. He got a new haircut this week, looking very cute. Chip Goldrich, Carlos Hernandez, my friends have joined us. Joe Savino, oh my God. Joe, I was talking about how gorgeous you are. Yeah, well, I was talking about Joe, and he's joined us now. Usually he's in the shower when we're doing the show. I don't know. He's always in the shower or something like that. But
Yeah.
Joe, I was telling, they're military families and people here. So Joe loves the armed forces. All right. So, Toby, you were actually in the Navy, right?
I was.
So
yeah.
please tell us about that.
So yeah, I'm from a Navy family. My dad was in the Navy for 30 years.
Yes.
There's
What's your dad's name?
Ted Blackwell.
Ted Blackwell.
Blackwell.
Thank you for your
Ted
service, Ted Blackwell.
He and when I was going to college, I needed to pay for college, so I did ROTC, Naval ROTC. So all during college, I was getting a uniform a couple times a week and doing that kind of thing. During the summers, I'd do a month of training, and then I was in the Navy full time for 4 years after that.
And you traveled around the world, right?
Yeah, we were stationed in the San Francisco Bay Area, and then our ship went all the way to Persian Gulf, and then we were supposed to be there for 3 months. We were only there for 2 because Taiwan was having elections, and they were worried China was something was going to happen, so they sent our fleet there. But our ship was so slow that by the time we got there, it was all over. So we just kept going and went to
That's it.
Japan and probably broke down for 30 days.
That's it.
Yeah, we just got stuck there. We were like, so we got home like
And
that was
what
we were away for 6 months. That was the longest we were away from home.
All right. Okay. But thank you for your service, and please thank your dad. I love your dad. He's a great guy.
He's funny.
How is your dad?
He's great. He's good. He's he himself. He's been in this show. He himself is a songwriter. He's been writing for years and years and years and years, folk songs and protest songs, and different things. And they're like, he's been doing really well. He lives in Austin, so that songwriting, world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he was teaching. He became a teacher, but now he's just retired and doing my mom's honey-do list at home.
Oh no, that's tough. That's tough when you're retired.
And taking care of my 100-year-old grandmother. She turns 100 in March.
Wow.
She lives with my parents now. Yeah.
His mom or your mom's
My
mom?
mom's mom.
I was gonna say,
And she
because your
goes-
mom's Filipino, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those Filipino ladies, they go on.
Yeah.
They go on.
And the doctor, he said that the
No,
doctor.
they're tough, man.
Yeah.
They're
she
little,
walked
but
in
they're
and,
tough.
And the doctor's like, I don't have any patients over 90 that walk in. She's rubbing her legs for good luck.
I'm telling you, she's
Yeah,
100.
She's gonna be 100 in March. Yeah, next 6
Wow.
months.
My grandma's 98.
Yeah.
Yeah, little. She's tiny. Maybe it's the height. I don't know what that's about. Those little. You know what? Let me ask you about your grandma. Is she like one of these really tough women?
No, because that was more of my mom. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
sorry, my mom was like more disciplinarian. Like I think my grandma would even clean the house before my mom got there.
Oh, really? She was afraid of your
scared
mom?
of my mom.
Well, you have told me some stories, and in your show, you talk about your mom and how
Yeah.
clean she was, right?
Yeah, she's really she's clean. Also like the best cook and baker of all time. But she keeps a clean house and
That's no joke.
It's no joke. And but she raised we were lived in Japan. We did like other things, so she raised us. My dad's away a lot of times. She's got 2 young boys, and she kept us in line. We didn't get in too much trouble. And,
He was away because he was in the Navy.
yeah, he was in the
right?
Navy, and we're in another country, and we did that twice, and so she, to her credit, and to the credit of military moms everywhere, that's amazing to do
Yeah.
that, and so yay, mama.
Well, the military moms, we want a special shout out to them.
Yes.
Candice, then you talk
My
about your mom
sister.
Oh, and she's Mila
and your
Blackwell,
sister. So, Joe, thank you
Thanks,
for
Mom.
your service, and I really, I really, your hoops. Oh, he loves your hoops. Oh, okay. You know what's funny? I forgot to tell you. Joe loves big hoops. We actually call them big ass hoops because my cousins, Gina and Joyce, especially Joyce. Joyce is Joe's hairdresser, and sometimes they Facebook Live. And Joyce always wears those really big ass hoops. That's what we call them. And so, yes, Joe. Hoops all for you. And oh my God.
Hoops for days.
Hoops for days. He loves hoops.
Oh, Michael. There's Michael.
Where's Michael? Michael Plosky. He was on the show a few weeks ago. Hello. Stephen Elbell. Hi, Stephen. Joshua Bergian. Okay, so we got so many great people checking in.
Poor Joshua.
All right, so we were talking about poor Joshua.
He's asking me.
What?
He's like, if her hair is natural, please ask if she will marry me. Joshua, this is my waterproof hair. I bought this. I'm sorry, honey.
Do you still want to marry her?
If you still want to marry me, it's okay if not.
That's it. Well, think about it. Something
to do Melrose Place reveals.
We ain't doing all that. We're
listen,
we're anchored tonight. So.
That's it. That's it. It can be anything. We're ever changing. We're ever changing. Looks good. Looks good.
Naturally,
yeah, that's it. All right. All these people are checking in. Juliana Cesari. Hi, Juliana. That's Julie Cesari and LA. She gave me my first equity job. Thank you, Julie. All right. So you did let's go back and first of all, I want to talk about the military mom stuff, right?
Yes.
So your mom was a military mom, right, Candy?
Yes.
And your sister.
My sister, big time.
Yeah. So talk about that.
My mom, my dad retired like right before I was in 5th grade. So my mom for not nearly as long. My sister, they got married when I was 15 years old. So we're going back a few decades. I'm dating myself, but their whole
life is the
their
military.
Whole life, was the military, and she is like a masterful military wife.
And then what do you mean by that? So
she's really good at all the stuff that goes along with it, like all the planning and all the social stuff, and you know, there's periods of time like when he was deployed in Afghanistan and when he was deployed in Iraq where she has to go to all the funerals. Like she's just really good at like holding it down. She organized the house. They raised 2 boys together. Wow. Their younger son, actually, he's now an officer in the Army.
I didn't know that.
He flies helicopters. Like it's a family thing.
He was just a baby.
He was a baby, little Patrick. He was a little tiny
He's in the Navy?
big-headed baby, and now he's in the Army.
But
he's almost in his mid-20s. And he flies helicopters.
That's amazing.
Second lieutenant, I want to say that would be the rank.
That's really something.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really
it's
cool.
Serious business in the Brito family.
Yeah, tonight a lot of shout outs to our military. We so appreciate everybody's service and dedication, and just talk about taking risks and just going out there and doing what you got to do. So a big shout out to that. And all right, so let's go back to Toby. Did you always sing as a kid?
Yeah, I started singing in church. But I know it sounds like I was in a gospel church, but it was Catholic church. So.
Okay. I went to Catholic school. We sang at folk mass.
Yeah.
That's where you learned to sing in church.
Folk mass. I love folk masses.
See, look at all the lights. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
you sing to the Lord, baby. That's it.
And at first I remember them being like, God, they're so loud. And I was like, oh, what am I loud? And then I joined a choir in 6th grade, and then I got a solo, and then the first big solo was "Go Tell It on the Mountain" at the Christmas show.
Of course. Oh, and you have a beautiful baritone voice, which is most guys that I know are tenors. And then there's like the Michael Woolies who are basses, very rare. And my friend David White is not David White, Fred Owen. My friend Fred Owen, he's a deep bass. But most guys that I know are tenors, and you have the beautiful baritone voice right in there, right? So you sang as a kid, and then didn't you do you did tours and stuff, right? You were at Disney, didn't you?
I sang, and then at Harvard I went to.
Let's back up. I just heard Harvard. Wait, what? So you went to Harvard?
I went to Harvard. That's right. When I did ROTC and everything, that was at Harvard or MIT at the time.
Very impressive. Not easy to do.
Yeah, so I always feel like that's like so many of us. That's what we did, and then then you live your life, and after a while, it's all about the lessons you learn as you go along. Yeah. And what did you at Harvard? Did you major in business? East Asian studies. So I studied Japan.
Wow,
yeah.
Really?
That's awesome.
What made you pick that?
We had lived in Japan as
a military family.
Yeah, military family, and so I was interested in it, and I knew I wanted to take 2 years of language, Japanese. I took a business course at the first economics course, and I was like, I'm so bored. I can't write this. And then I looked into do that degree. I added 1 more year of language, and then I got to take any East Asian classes from different departments and have my own things, and that was a whole degree. So it was great.
Wow. That's really impressive. I didn't know that about you. See, that's one I love. Oh, here, Darius.
Darius.
Hey, Darius.
Aw.
Andre Nugem has joined us. Hi, Andre. And Joshua James Francis Lewis. He's a chef. I try to get to everybody. Okay, wow, I didn't know that about you. I learned so many things about people when they're doing the show that I didn't know about them before. And Candice, you went to NYU?
I did.
And you studied costume design?
I studied design for theater, film, and television.
Okay.
And my emphasis was in costume design. And I realized, like, right after I graduated, I mean, I worked for the Broadway show Rent, like the original cast and everything for a long time. But I realized it just wasn't what I had sort of fantasized it to be. So then I branched out.
What did you fantasize it to be?
Well,
I'm just curious because
I
I wasn't in that business.
I thought that I would instantly be like a Colleen Atwood, who's like a famous film costume designer, and that would instantly be how it was, and that I'd be drawing all the time and taking it to the shop, and then they'd make it, and it would be gorgeous, and some actress would be wearing it. But what it really was is you got to pay your dues. So it was a lot of schlepping bags through Times Square.
Right.
You know, a lot of like, you know, trying to budget, trying to figure it out, piece it together, doing little side shows, doing little theater that had no money.
Did you believe this because you really made that up, or because like the training or the school like always sort of put that in your mind, kind of that was what it was going to be?
I think it was a combination of both. That is a great question. I think it was a combination of both, because we were trained that, you know, you just draw and you do these original things, and then our shop within the school would then build it, and then we put it on the actors who were going to Tisch also.
All right, okay.
Some like great actors like Billy Crudup and Deb Messing, and like, you know, a lot of them are very famous now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would put them on the actors, and so it felt like that's instantly what it was going to be, you know. But there's a lot of dues paying, and that wasn't the reason necessarily that I left it. I just was like, I don't know that this is the be all end all, and it took me at least 15, 16 years to realize that as much as I was having a lot of fun, it wasn't like it wasn't something that I was connected to. Like, it wasn't purposeful. It was just kind of fun. And I had, you know, a degree in it that I paid a lot of money for. You know?
Yeah, right.
But I needed to figure out, you know, what it was I was connected. I wasn't emotionally connected to it.
Right. And how about the set design? You're really good at that.
Yeah, which was more so, I mean, it was more so art.
But you were good at the costumes. I mean, I've seen some of your costumes. They were really great.
Some illustrations and stuff, which I don't know if did you see my comic strip that I did for a little while?
Yes, thank you. I forgot about that. See, you see, okay. We have to at some point talk about, because Toby brought it up earlier, about all the different jobs that you have, and the different things that we do. So the costume design, the art direction, and you worked on a bunch of TV shows, right?
The art direction, did you study with that, or did you do that on the job? Like, how did that happen?
Well, the art direction was, you know, a through line of having studied, you know, design for theater, film, and television, and working with other students and people that I knew, you know, once we were all in the professional world. And one of my professional mentors was Tina Manfredi, who was an art director for the Judge shows, and that's how I started. But then I went from Judge shows to the Tyra show, and then the Wendy Williams show was the last thing.
And I got to see Wendy Williams because of Candice.
Right? You got to come to the show?
I got to see Tyra.
And I got a DVD from Celine Dion.
Yes,
oh, no. What?
Yeah. And Celine Dion called into the show. And I got to tell you, I love seeing Celine Dion singing.
Yeah.
I can't stand her speaking voice. So that was
that
was around 10 minutes, but I to get a free DVD.
So fabulous.
Oh, look at Darius saying, service a riff, Toby.
Whoop, give it to us, Toby.
He wants a riff. You know, Darius is always, I call him a masterful puppeteer.
It'll be a surprise riff.
Surprise, yeah, just rip it
out of the chimes. I'll give you a riff.
Oh, yeah, because I told Toby we have, look at Chris DePiero flirting with you. Beautiful woman.
Hello, Chris.
Chris is single, you know.
Oh,
okay, so the magical chimes. What? Yes, we have Juan Felipe has joined. Hi, Juan. Juan, do you know Toby? Do you know Juan Felipe?
I'm not sure.
You guys would love each other. He's Colombian. He's very funny. And Toby is really funny. And you would really get along great. All right. So one of the things that, so you talked about having all those, one thing leads to another, and being creative like that. But the baking, because I want to start talking about our food. We're going to segue into the food section of the show. Look at all the hearts. They love that.
Breakfast for dinner.
That's right. So you were also a great baker. You made cakes for a while there, right?
I did cakes for a while. I did wedding dresses for a while. I did pillows for a while. I like to try everything.
But do you still do that? Let's say somebody is watching the show tonight and says, "Oh my God, I'm getting married. I would love a wedding dress designed."
Yeah, no.
No. Okay.
I mean, now I'm a love coach, so I do help people with their relationships.
Oh, you help them get to the wedding.
Yes, I help them get to that point. But no, I don't actually. I mean, I might do a design for them. I would do an illustration, and then they could figure out how to go get it made.
Plosky can, you could call Michael Plosky. He can design.
He would design, right?
Yeah,
he would design something fabulous.
He would design. How about if someone was doing a show and they wanted an art director for a show for a theater or something?
That I could do. If they wanted, like, for television mainly, if they wanted, like, some prop setup, some atmosphere, some, special event stuff, that I could do still.
All right, so that's why you appreciated my plate tonight then.
Oh, I love your plate.
All right, so.
It's so fantastic.
I was texting these guys and I'm like, okay, do you have any dietary restrictions? That's what I usually ask my guests because I want to cook for the show, right? So Candice threw the curveball in there with the gluten-free and all that, but which I knew anyway. I know Candice is usually like
such attitude.
Well, no, it's not that she just was like, I'm not eating sugar and trying to and carbs and stuff. So I'm like, oh fuck. Excuse me. So now
there's your secret rib.
There you go. There's the rib. You're doing it. Wait, magical. Oh, perfect. All right. Wow, getting dizzy from the magic. So anyway, I said to myself, let me see, if I'm trying to think of gluten-free, oh, wait a minute, breakfast for dinner. So I thought eggs. So here's what I've done. Here's my plate.
What?
Look at that plate. Isn't it gorgeous? So look what I did. I got fluffy scrambled eggs, bacon. I like it well done, but I made it kind of medium. Look at all the likes. Now these sausage are special sausage. They're chicken sausage, maple chicken sausage. But you know what I did? I cooked up some onions and apples, sauteed them, and then threw the chicken sausage in there. So they have an apple onion kind of glaze over them. And these pancakes, you're thinking, those aren't gluten-free, Maria. What are you, crazy? Guess what? They are. They're Trader Joe's. My favorite, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's gluten-free. You get them in the freezer section. They're called gluten-free pancakes. They are off the damn hook. Thank you for liking my plate. I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh.
So that is my plate, and we're gonna eat this. I'm gonna make it fresh afterwards. So that is our thing. So you were talking about if even people that style food on sets, right?
Yeah.
There's food stylists.
There's food stylists. There's people who fabricate things. I mean, what I did a lot was fabricating things, and producers would come up with ideas for gifts for celebrities and stuff, and I would just make it. Or games. If you ever watch talk shows and they play games and stuff,
yes,
that stuff doesn't exist. Somebody has to figure out what that's going to look like and build it
and create it.
Yeah,
and all
that's
that.
What I used to do.
Peter Rose says Toby is so smart. Who's Peter Rose, Toby?
Peter Rose is somebody pretty important to me.
Okay, and he said that you're so smart.
Because he's so smart.
All right, see, smart people know each other.
Recognition.
So I do want to talk about that because you are super duper smart, and you're a tutor, right? That's what
I do. I tutor now. Yeah. And I tutor mostly kids taking the SATs and ACTs and stuff. So it's sort of the other side of my, there's we have the left brain, right brain, one's the creative side and one's the more, math side or analytical side. So it's a way to incorporate both sides because you do have to be, as a performer, it's great. If sometimes I'm in front of a classroom of people, you have to entertain these people for 3 hours.
I can imagine. I would love it if you were my tutor.
And then sometimes you have the one-on-ones and it's just, and the ability to think on your feet, to know, if the kid's going a certain way to sort of think like them. And that's, as actors, we are always getting in other characters' heads and things like that. And so it's all really helped to do my tutoring, and it's going very well.
That's hard stuff, though, tutoring for SATs.
Yeah, but it's it doesn't. But once I get I understand it, so I can teach. I just teaching the same thing over and over. Sometimes I teach for kids courses, and then I'm sort of figuring out.
Do you do private tutoring too?
Yeah, it's mostly private tutoring.
Okay, so if people need private tutors for your students for SATs, Toby's your guy.
Yeah, and you can find me at tobytutor@gmail.com.
You have a Toby tutor?
Mm-hmm.
At gmail.com?
Gmail.com, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Toby's with a Y.
Yep.
Also, Maria Filiomania has joined us. Joe Savino said, where are the home fries? Joe, you're not listening. It's gluten-free.
No, home fries would be okay.
What is it? It's potatoes.
As long as you don't fry them with flour or something like that, the home fries are gluten-free.
You can have home fries.
They're starchy.
Yeah. Come on. They turn to sugar after a while, right?
Turn to sugar,
but if you come over, Joe, I'll make you potatoes with the nice peppers and the onions. That's delicious. Shane Desmond Williams now has said, hi, sexy people. Hi, Shane.
Hi, Shane.
Shane's from Massachusetts, but he lives in Atlanta now, my buddy. Okay, so you're a gluten-free person. That's it. You eat mostly.
Well, unless I go on a bender. I mean, for the most part, I don't eat gluten because I just don't feel well when I eat it. I know it's a trendy thing.
If I stopped eating things every time I didn't feel well from eating them, I'd be stopping a lot.
But I gotta be honest though, like I overdo it. Like I'm one of those people who I'm all or nothing.
Yeah, I
What do you mean you overdo it? Like no gluten, that like you don't even want to see gluten, or you overdo it when you binge?
Like
I'll
if
have
you
to
do binge,
no
you'll go
gluten
crazy.
because I've been binging, or like you know.
Well, what do you binge on? If you're gonna go in the darkest place of a gluten life, and you're like, nobody's gonna find out, and you open a bag of what? What's the worst thing that you
Here's
do?
the darkest place of gluten life for me,
Okay.
and I can tell you because it just happened last month.
Oh no!
It's those cans of cinnamon roll that you twist and pop.
No.
Yeah,
And
cinnamon rolls.
And Grand's makes like a big size, and you can put the icing on at the end.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
they have
like-
some, I think, with extra gluten.
Yes.
right.
Gluten infused.
Yes, just can of gluten.
Gluten
Right.
added. Like if I'm on a bender, especially if I haven't eaten anything and I'm hungry and I'm like, whatever, I just want to fix. I will make that, and literally, there's like 8 of them in there.
And you can eat
I
them?
can kill 5.
I can just picture you like tapping the can, like people like
You-
they
Oh,
tap
yeah,
tapping
like,
the can
tapping my arm.
because you're gonna get your fix of gluten.
Oh
Ready
my
to shoot
God.
it in
You
there.
shoot the can in your mouth.
But it's always by the 5th one that I'm like, ugh.
What the hell? So you're in a blackout. You're like
Oh,
in a
yeah.
cinnamon roll
Like,
blackout, and that's it. Oh,
Yeah,
what's happened?
5th one. That's it.
You cry.
Well,
Yeah.
You crash. You
it
crash.
depends on why I'm
Oh
doing
my
it in the
God,
first place.
See,
Yeah.
me, it's ice cream potato chips. Ice cream potato chips, and I go back and
yeah.
forth. Like I need salt, and I need sugar, then I need salt, and I go back and forth.
Have you ever had potato chips with like a chocolate bar, like a Cadbury
Oh,
fruit
my
nut
God.
bar, and Cape Cod potato
Or
chips?
dipped chocolate. I mean, potato chips dipped in
Oh
chocolate.
yeah.
Or pretzels. I love salt. Like one of my favorite things. People are gonna think this is gross, but I like salt and sugar.
Mhm.
Is a cinnamon raisin bagel with white fish on it. That I know a lot of people are like, whoa.
Fish and raisin.
Yeah, I love it. I
Fish
love
and
it.
raisin. That's wrong with it.
I like
I
salt
can't
and
get with fish
sugar.
and raisin.
You know, Toby,
Yeah.
what's your like if you go? But you don't really have to watch what you eat, do you? Or do you?
I have the refined palate of an 8-year-old, so I just eat what I go
Chicken
on.
fingers?
All the time, yeah.
And
I don't
pizza.
know chicken fingers. It's not that bad, but I have actually been in the past year eating better because I joined the Home Chef and
Oh,
the ones
really?
where they bring you the food, and
Oh
you cook
yeah,
it.
those are great.
So I joined those, yeah, and what was cool was at Christmas I sent a box to my family, and so my mom and I for the first time ever cooked together.
Wow.
Because her thing is food, and she's so good, and so that was
She's a
something
really
we got
good
to
cook,
do.
your
Yeah,
mom,
that's something
right?
We got to do together, and we've never done that before.
And what is some of the stuff because your mom's Filipino? So what's like a Filipino
Well,
dish?
she's Filipino, so Filipino food, and my grandma used to make Filipino food and sell it to restaurants.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it would be like pancit is the noodles.
Pancit, I love
Yeah, pancit is the noodles, and lumpia, the egg rolls. Those are like the most famous ones, and chicken adobo, which is like, and my mom has taught people how to make that over the phone. It's
Oh,
actually
my
easier
God.
than you think, but yeah, it's delicious. But my mom actually worked at a cooking school in Austin, so
Oh, really?
yeah, or she volunteered at one, so she could cook everything, and she'll take the recipes and make them her own, and that's like her thing that she does. And
Yeah,
it's great.
my mom was like that too. I think that's a certain generation of very creative. Like you
Yeah.
have to. You're
Yeah, they're
usually
creative and meticulous. They're all about spending the time, and you feel the love and the care that goes into the food, and it's
Yeah.
different than a lot of what we eat now.
absolutely, and also it sometimes comes from having to be resourceful.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you move somewhere new. You have to assess your situation. You don't have a lot of money. You have to make it work. And eating at home is one of the best ways to save money.
Yeah. And then with my dad being in the military food is not the best. And
Is
it's
that
not,
true?
Yeah, it's not the healthiest
No.
for you either. It's, you're sort of making stuff that's going to appeal to the masses. I was a food service officer. And you usually get sometimes good food. We were on a ship that happened to be imported a lot. A lot of ships aren't imported a lot, and a lot of people aren't even on ships that they can get that. So I think
So what do they eat? Like mashed
you eat whatever's
potatoes?
gonna be, it's a lot. It's a lot of food that's fried. It's just the quickest way to make food. When you think about food that has to get served to masses of people, and
Right.
it's the easiest way to do it is fry it. Yeah. And so I think that my mom, single-handedly from her cooking at home, really has helped my dad, to live a healthy life. He'd be, I don't know what would have happened because, that's kind of be artery clogging and it's not the healthiest. But she's always made it very healthy, but been creative about it. Like we were talking about
Well,
creativity.
that's what it is.
That's just creativity that
It's
that
totally
she expresses. She plays piano, but people would think because her house is so clean that she's this taskmaster, but her creativity comes out in her food, and and that really benefits everybody.
She like MacGyvers it together.
She does. She definitely, she slipped wheat German in a lot of things that we didn't know about.
Really?
Well, that's it too. And Candice, your family was very creative with food, right? Your mom was a good baker.
Oh, my mom was an excellent. I mean, that's how I learned how to bake. My mom was always an excellent cook, and she was the one who, there's always the one person in the family that everybody else in the family comes to their house, or they come to her Thanksgiving, that sort of thing. When I was little, yeah, she was an excellent cook.
Yeah, my mother too. Isn't that great? A lot of people don't grow up with that. So shout out to our moms.
Yay,
Thank you very much.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let me see. What are some of the things that we're working on now? So what are some of the things that you do, Candice, to stay creative? Or do you ever want to take a break from it and just like back up and not want to do anything creative?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I ever want to take a break from it. I mean, there's definitely times where I feel a little stuck and get in a lull, but then it starts to affect me mentally. Like I have to be doing or creating something. I have to be working on something.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. It's like the brain will start to be like, okay, like I'm getting a little crazy if I'm not expressing myself in some way.
Absolutely. I get sad.
Yeah,
I
totally.
get really sad if I'm not being creative. If I'm just like sometimes there's certain jobs, like we were talking about this, and we should talk about some of the crazy jobs we've all had. You do certain things that you have to do for whatever reason, because we have to pay our bills. And like for me, corporate America is, oh my God, like that to me is like a nightmare, that I can't wake up from.
The seventh level of hell.
Yeah, I can't like doing something like that would have to I wouldn't be able to do it. That's why I do so many crazy jobs. Like Toby came over, he's like, "What's this stuff?" It's like all my Rodan and Fields, because I display it out there, and that's one of my jobs. Yeah, I sell Rodan and Fields skincare. It's great stuff. I also Uber in Jersey when I have free time, because it's like, why not? But I'll tell you something about the Ubering. It's you meet the most interesting people.
Oh, I imagine. And
it's like literally you have 5 minutes with them, or one guy had to drive to Pennsylvania this week, or an hour and 20, 30 minutes. But you're privy to their lives for that amount of time, and then it's over. And that's it. And you get these like flashes of like their life. So it's really cool. Like there's actually a series there somewhere. You see people's lives. But what are some of the crazy jobs that you've had, Toby, or things that you've had to do?
I was one of those. I did like temp work a lot. Being
you
here.
Did, yeah.
I've never worked in a restaurant. Actors always work.
Good
in
for you.
And I've never done that. I always did temp. I always did office jobs. But yeah, it's hard. Sometimes I would get a long-term job. One time I got a long-term job. Like they hired me at this publishing place, but then I got booked at Hong Kong Disney, and I was like, I know I said I'd be here a year, but I gotta go in 6 months.
Hong Kong Disney, I remember that.
Yeah, so it's.
Weren't you the tallest person there?
I was the tallest person in China, or at least that's
you
what.
You told me that.
Yeah, I think that's what the Chinese people thought, because they would take pictures of me with telephoto lenses, like they were on National Geographic.
Really?
Yeah, me and a friend of mine went to this amusement park in China, and we were reading a map, and we were like, why is this girl standing next to us? And then we looked at her friend is taking pictures of her, and she's doing the peace sign, like right next to us, as if we're like an exhibit.
No.
And the thing, I swear to God, we had to tell them to stop. It was really weird. We moved, she moved.
So you were like a draw, right?
Yeah. When I was in Japan, I worked at Disney in Japan and Hong Kong. In Japan, for years later, people would say they're like, I saw you on TV on Travel Channel. I guess I'm on some documentary about Japan, and it's all the Japanese people and my head above them in like a busy street in Roppongi. And for like 7 years, my parents, everybody saw this video, this thing of me on the Travel Channel, because my head was just literally over the top.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, you're like a big deal in Japan.
I'm huge in Japan.
Yeah, Susie Campanera too. She's a big deal. Did you know that?
No.
She was Tina and Tony and Tina's wedding in Japan, and she was on a billboard on the side of a building for years.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Susie Campanera.
I could see them like her.
Yes, famous in Japan. So Candice, what are some of the jobs that you've had that you're like, oh no?
Oh my God.
Like or you had to do?
Yeah. I mean, when it started out, I would do office jobs as jobs that I had to do for bills or whatever. And I worked in production in fashion for Calvin Klein jeans.
That must have been hard. No,
well,
I wouldn't.
Let me say, because I don't mind being in an office. I think there is some level of creativity you can find in an office, and I don't mind. I also don't mind.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing. I never knew what I was doing. That's the problem.
Yeah, but then you also meet personalities. Like I worked for this crazy lady. This was back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and she used to smoke in her windowless office, and she always wanted me to take dictation. It was gonna come in. I need you to take a letter. Like she was a total character, and she would smoke, and it was like it just was a bad atmosphere. So it wasn't the office that was the problem.
It was just
the
the
people.
atmosphere.
Well,
Yeah.
you meet some weird people when you
You
do
meet
some
such
temp
weird
jobs.
people.
Yeah. And like there's one guy wants dictation. Like, what is this, 1952?
Exactly.
It's so weird, you know.
Exactly.
He does a certain way, and then other people need this, or it's just interesting the quirks that you meet when you work for executives, and the higher up they are, like, you know, you're basically like, do I need to wipe your butt for you? 'Cause, you know, it's like
that's true. Look at everybody with the likes. Yeah, what is that?
It's just really strange. It's like they forget how to be human beings and just how to do.
Yeah, but
basic things.
that's just entitlement.
Yeah.
And that can happen anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's crazy. You know, there's a certain type of person that just expects people to just, you know, do what they need them to do, like that.
Yeah.
Like, even with the driving, with the Ubering, like the best tippers are the poor people that are usually going to like some job where they're really, you know, they'll tip me the best.
Yeah.
But the nightmare for me, the equivalent of corporate America for me when I'm driving is Hoboken. Hoboken on a Saturday afternoon. And then, no, seriously, because because you don't know where you're going with the car, right? You just go wherever it sends. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, I'm going to Hoboken. And then you're like, all of a sudden the car opens like, hey dude. And you get like, dude. You get like four giant dudes in my little car, and you could just smell the booze. And it's like, it's Saturday and they're going to bars, or they're like just, and it's like, hey dude, and that's what it is. And then they want the radio change, and it's like crazy. It's like, and I think to myself, oh my God, like what did I just, but it's very quick because they're just going to bars. It's like the circle in Hoboken, just people going to bars. It's like what's that, Thousand Santas night or SantaCon? It's like SantaCon Saturday, but it's like that. And so it's just crazy. But that's just that certain types of people, they need what they need now, you know. And it's just it's funny. You have to. That's jarring to me. Something like that, you know. But I guess people are good at it. Some people are great at it.
Yeah,
you know?
But I also think too, because it's like there is a certain level of, like, in corporate America, there are a certain level of rules and parameters. So when you meet characters, it's like, you know, these people who, this is the way I express myself. I have this job with rules, but my personality is whatever.
Right. I guess you're
sometimes
right.
that's.
Well, a lot of times though, if we go into as temp workers or whatever, we are the creative people, and then they're looking at us like, you know, oh, you're doing such exciting things, you know. And you're like, I sang at a piano bar last night. Like, oh, that's so exciting. You're like, I just got up and sang, like, you know, time after time.
You know what? You're right.
And they get they're so intrigued, and you are, because you're creative and just visiting, you're allowed to be like a little more yourself, and they're like, and they're living vicariously through you. They always end up following me on Facebook, and always end up fighting, and they're like, oh, I live vicariously through all your thing, you know, all your travels and everything. And so many people want to do what we're doing, which is kind of aggressive, and which is, you know, sort of going from job to job. It's hard. It's not the most lucrative existence, but at the end of my life, I know that I'm gonna know that I had fun and that I did the things that I wanted to do, and I think that that's what is going to be important.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that. It is true. You know, it's not always. I mean, the money is great. God, we all need money, right? But it's not always about that. You're absolutely right. And then people do find life in what we do. Yeah. And they do follow us and things like that. So it is great. That's one of those great things. Just interesting what you just said. That's really true.
Performers often, I went back to I did Festival of the Lion King at Walt Disney World in 1999. And so I went back to the reunion of the show. It was all the 18 years of cast. This was 2 years ago. And I looked and I was like, why did none of these people age? The women for that cast looked like they did back when they were all performing. And this is 18 years later. And everyone was like, maybe it's because we're doing what we love to do. So many people have gone on and they're still performing. You know, it's a dance company, they're doing all these things. And doing what you love to do is going to make you happy. It's going to make you feel and look and be younger. It just is. And so, you know, I always want to be able to do, you know, have the freedom to do what I want to do. And, you know, you figure out the money. The money happens. There's ways to make money. You drive an Uber, you sell whatever you need to do.
Do what you got to do.
And in this day and age,
Absolutely.
there's ways to make money. On the internet, there are ways to, you know, I'm looking up ways to be more of a writer on the internet. There's things to do. We're creative, and so we're able to find them and adapt ourselves to be within them. And I think that's something that is a real talent.
Absolutely. And the thing is, like, even thinking about not being creative for me just throws me into like such a crazy place. Right. Like, I have to always be able to express myself, whatever it is, you know. And I've always been lucky that I've had, you know, like the teaching. I love to teach. I teach out in Morristown and at the Mayo with Darius, and that's like so much fun. And that's one day a week, and I'm always doing different things. And I have to be doing things like that's why I need jobs, and I have to be able to go on auditions during the day. So you need these crazy odd jobs, you know. One of the craziest jobs I ever had, which was really fun, but it was crazy, is I did costume characters for FAO Schwartz.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, on the weekends. I don't know if I ever told you that.
Dogs and bears.
Oh no, I was Arthur the Aardvark for years. Don't you recognize me? Yes, I was Arthur the Aardvark. I had this giant head, and I had this like little vest, and it was just regular pants that you wore. They were like kind of like sweatpants, but they were striped. And do you know that these little kids, these mean little kids, that's one girl, looked in my, because through your mouth is where you can look down, because you don't really have eyes, you know, your eyes are up here, so your mouth is where your eyes are. And she looked right into the mouth and she said, Arthur the Aardvark, you're not an aardvark, you're a real person. That's pathetic.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, Olivia. Her name was Olivia. Can you believe I never forgot her?
For Olivia.
Right?
And then she stepped on my foot. She stepped on my foot and she tried to pull the pants down. Can you believe this? Because they want to prove that you're like, you know, this is before the Times Square thing.
Right.
And so
Times Square, they pull their own pants down.
Yeah, that's
they don't care. They
they're
like, stick their head out. They don't care. I'm like,
they're awful. They don't care. They're smoking. I'm like, this is awful.
3 Minnie Mouses right next to each other.
Yeah, they're eating.
3 Minnie Mouses.
We used to have to really keep it going for like a long time. So she was like, this is what she said to me. That's what you do for a living? You're pathetic. Can you imagine her mother? That's her mother's voice.
Yeah. So then
this same kid, Olivia, came back another week for another party. And do you know that I did? I grabbed her little hand and I twisted it when she went to get my pants. I twisted and she was like, Arthur, you're hurting me. Arthur.
She's so
I tried, Olivia.
She believed that.
I'm hurting you.
She believed that.
Then all of a sudden, I wasn't so pathetic. That's right. God, I'm glad I got that off my chest. 20 years later, she's probably she's probably a big exec somewhere watching this, and she's like, "Oh my God, that was Arthur the Aardvark." She's gonna come back and sue me. Oh my God. All right, so good. What should we tell people if anybody's thinking about moving here? It's either a young person or not so young person, or thinking about staying in the arts, wants to give up. What is a nice word of advice? Candice, what would you tell them?
I would say this, because I think, you know, and I keep dating myself, but I think for when I came, and, you know, when a lot of us came in the 90s and stuff like that, this was still the place to come to make it happen. Mm-hmm. But now with the internet, if you are somewhere out in Podunk, Wisconsin, you can be getting your career, your expression, your art, whatever you're doing digitally out there.
That's true. That is true.
And someone will end up paying for you to come here, rather than feeling like, you know, to be self-expressed, you have to come here and figure it out and get in the trenches. You don't have to do that anymore.
That's true.
If you want to, you can.
Yeah, people are setting auditions for movies even. You know, you hear about people get this part, they like tape auditions and things like that. It's,
yeah,
you know,
totally.
Like, a lot of it is, you know, you have to be there and or at least able to get there really quickly.
Yeah.
But you said you can start anything, and you can
start
and they're all about people building brands in advance.
Yeah.
So you know that kind of having a YouTube channel, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a new.
A lot of it is social media now, right?
Like be doing what it is you want to do. Just start doing it.
Just start doing it.
People will listen to it.
Well, one of the girls I had on the show last week, she's a writer and she teaches creative writing as well. And she said she tells people to go to where their energy is, rather than just say, okay, this is the beginning of my screenplay and this is the end of it, or I have to go in sequence. She said, no, just go to where write any scene where your energy is. And that was one of the things that she was promoting. Mm. And I think that's important too, because otherwise it's easy to freeze. Like when you used to write your shows, Toby, you would write them in different sections, right?
I would write, and I would sort of, you know, even when we rehearsed, it would be like, okay, here I'm going to talk about this, and I wouldn't know exactly what I was going to say until, you know, kind of the day before. Okay, I might hit these points. It was almost like my stuff was like bullet pointed, and then it would change as the show went on. With reactions that I would get, with, you know, I remember I would make up jokes just as we went, and then you'd be like, put that in the show. It's going to stay, and so you know, and I think that's, you know, the way to do a show like that where you're being yourself. Yeah. Which is a hard thing for many people.
Remember, you directed my show too.
I did direct your show too. That's right.
You sang in my show.
You sang in her show.
Yeah.
This will be
Beautiful. No, we did.
Oh,
we did. I'm Beautiful.
Beautiful.
But did we do this?
Oh yeah.
Did you do this with me?
No, we did that separately. We did that at karaoke.
Yeah, with the Bette Midler song, but yeah, beautiful.
We did that.
Who was your other backup person? You had Toby and who else?
You and me. I had to
Oh
learn
no,
that part.
that was later. That was a different time.
Oh, it
That wasn't
was a show though.
Candice, who was the other person?
The other backup people? Oh my god.
Did you have two?
Well, who were you with? I had different people for every show.
Oh, right.
And I feel horrible that I
no,
can't
there was
remember
a lot
any
of
of them.
people.
It was what, in 2006 and 2007? So
yeah, it was a while back. That was a good show.
Do you remember who you were partnered with?
No.
So I had these backup Bette Midler songs.
Pretty is So Important, right?
Yes,
that was
Pretty is So Important was the show, and I'm Beautiful Then was the finale song. And so the part where they're like too short, too tall, too whatever, that's what Toby did.
Toby, that's right.
Who was with you?
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I'm sorry, people.
Well, you know what? That's okay. Maybe you can remind us. Let's check in with people again. Usually I check in a lot more. Just tonight we've been talking a lot and having fun stuff. Every night we have fun, but it's coming in so fast.
The most fun, right?
Well, let me tell you, you just never know what's going to happen on the show. And this has been a thrill. I'll tell you that much. Jeffrey Campbell, she's going to be thorn. Oh, she was talking about Olivia. It's going to be thorn in somebody's side. Leah Sutton. Hi, Leah Sutton has joined. Tim DePasqua. Do you guys know who Tim DePasqua is?
That name is familiar.
Yes, he's one of my favorite songwriters. He's amazing. So Tim DePasqua, we have to work out when you're going to come on the show. I want to talk to you guys, talk to you about that. He is an amazing Stephen Douglas Mayhack, your friend Candice.
Yeah, I love
Steve, where are you living now? I think he's
years.
I don't know if he's here in New York still. A lot of people that we used to know have moved to other places, and it's kind of goes back to what you were talking about. People, I know so many people that have, like my friend Katie Cass has moved back to Wisconsin, but she's doing amazing. You know, so you're right, because I moved here in 90. And when did you move here, Toby?
In 2000.
Okay, so it's true. It was very different. New York was the place to come to. It was the destination, and then everything sprung out from here. But it is different now. Like sometimes people come here and then they go back to where they were raised or whatever, and they start theater companies or they do all this other stuff. Or,
and TV film is like branching. So many shows shoot, you know, in North Carolina and or in
Atlanta.
Canada, and there's like little hubs. Or in Austin, a lot of stuff happen. You know, there's a lot of music stuff.
I know a lot of people that work in television, like behind the scenes, that are working in Atlanta now. There's a ton of work down there
because they can shoot all year because it's not cold. Yeah,
well, that's true
Walking
too.
Dead, I think it's down there.
Get in a Medea movie.
Yeah. You know what? Listen, if that's your thing. That's your thing.
That's his
Get
thing.
no
all the way to that nice mansion.
Right.
I don't. Not my. That's not my thing. It's not my. Not a fan. Are you guys not fans?
I've never seen one of the
I'm
movies.
not a fan. I have to tell you, when I first started seeing Medea, I was like, "Oh God, Chicken Bone Theater." But I have to
At
hand
the
it
theater,
to
I saw one of those DVDs because he used to be on the what it's called the Chitlin Circuit.
Yeah, Chicken Bone Theater.
Yeah, the black. So at the black theaters and the black things, and his thing was faith based. So it was comedy with Medea, but I saw Medea's high school reunion, and then in the middle there was this whole funny thing, and all of a sudden this one woman's having this dramatic arc about abuse, and there's a video with doves. It was ridiculous. And then they come back to like him in a dress, talking about, you know, it's really. That's how it started, and I was like, "This is awful." So I've never really been able to see one of the movies.
So that's how it started.
Yeah, you started out doing these live theater shows in one night.
Well, they used to be at the Beacon Theater, right?
Probably, I'm sure 1 or 2 nights.
What was some of the names? You remember?
It was like Medea's Family Reunion.
Yeah,
all the movies. All the movies
same as the movies.
Yeah, then they became movies.
But then there would be this moment with the doves.
Oh my God, that was so ridiculous. Yeah, 'cause she got abused.
I wish we had some doves right now.
Medea's high school reunion was. Medea's high school reunion was at a hotel, and the first half he was a busboy as a man, and the second half Medea showed up. So he played 2 characters, but he cracked the whole, like he was laughing, he cracked himself up. I was like, this is really good.
It's the same genre of like your arms too short to box with God. And like, Mama, I want to sing.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God. I want to sing.
Right. Well, that was at the Beacon Theater.
That was at the Beacon Theater. But Tyler Perry, you got to hand it to him. I mean,
and then the commercials, for those. But now they have this other one called I'm Alive. Have you seen the commercial for that on New York 1? Like 55, and they're like, 55, and I'm alive, and I'm like thinking,
is it a show?
You should be
if
at 55. I'm hoping.
You know it's the.
I'm hoping, yeah. Who's that? I hear. Is that your phone? Yeah. Oh, that's all right. Someone's called. All right, so we're getting close to the end of our show. So, all right, Leo Rodriguez, my friend Leo Rodriguez, great show. He's written so many things. When the show is over and I save the video, you guys can go back and look at all the comments. We get some great comments. Tim DePasqua says, great show. Thanks for the sweet shout out. I love you, Tim. No one is forcing me to give you a shout out. He is an amazing songwriter, Tim DePasqua. He's going to be on the show. We got to work that out. I love his music, and he's such a great guy. Oh, my God, Mario has joined, our friend Mario. He usually comes on once in a while. Hi, Mario. I saw your new headshot or whatever that was. Very handsome. Mario gets better looking as the years go on. It's crazy. Some people go the opposite, but some people don't. They just get better and better looking. All right, I think we're almost done, right, Jimmy? How much time? Jimmy's going to minute and a half.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so the hour has flown by. So we just want to thank you for coming back and remind you that this is on, well, of course, we're going to be here every Tuesday, Facebook Live, and, God willing, with the Doves. God willing. Right. And also,
how people can find us?
Yes.
If they want to find us?
So if they want to find you, Candice, how do they find you?
Just join my Facebook group, thecreativelovecollective.com.
Oh, I love that. All right. Thecreativelovecollective.com. And Toby Blackwell?
TobyBlackwell.com.
Easy. And also the tutor. How do they find you as a tutor?
TobyTutor@gmail.com.
Okay. So on this show is on armeddigitalmedia.com. You can listen to us live every Tuesday. Now, this is going to go into podcast on Spreaker.com and also on iHeartRadio. Just type in, what's the story with Maria? Or as Toby said, you can ask Alexa to find it for you, right?
It connects to iHeart, yeah.
It connects to iHeart. Nice. Alexa, find me what's the story with Maria. You don't have to snap, but I want to. I like that. I like that.
It's more of a Siri thing.
Yeah, that's true. Siri's like, I like to snap. Yeah. All right, so thank you, everybody. We appreciate you coming back week after week after week, and we love you. Come back next week, and for more great guests and more great food. And we're going to eat now.
Bye. Breakfast.